Hey guys, Explorer 4 here, Horrorboy465, and today I want to do this review. This review actually will be placed in a very weird upload schedule, because this review probably won't be going up immediately. I still have to do that live stream, which you guys, by the time this is up, you guys have already seen the live stream, you guys have already seen the surprise video that I made. I've actually been working on it, probably going to start shooting today on the video and sort of make a good return video because I decided to take a bit of a break, but I wanted to come back and really just make a really good comeback, and also to sort of give you guys a message in that video as to what direction this channel will be going into the future. I really wanted to make a video with a lot of creativity behind it that would show that. But I wanted to get to a classic old school review today. I wanted to review 47 Meters Down, a 2017 film with a 5.7 on IMDb. Directed by, real quick, my computer's glitching up. Sorry guys, my computer's glitching. Jonas Roberts. And I'm not really too familiar with that director. I'm not really sure he's made. Just seen a movie called The Expelled, which I think I've heard about that before. I just gotta get a look at it. My computer's glitching up. That's a big reason why I don't like using this computer, because it glitches up so much. The Other Side of the Door, Storage 24, and a movie called F. But it says in the poster it says Expelled, but it's just called F. So, I don't know. Does that mean it's considered be expelled by some countries, and then in other countries it's called F? I'm sorry, the expelled sounds better than just calling it F. I'm sorry. But he's director of 47 Meters Down, and I'm not really too sure how this review will be, because this is honestly a review on a very straightforward horror film. I mean, it works for everything it's going for: action, horror, and thriller. This is a film that I think is very simple, very basic, but I think it really really nails that. And basically what it's about is that these two girls, and they're on vacation. One of them pretty much is still recovering from a relationship, and pretty much she's going there to sort of get away from her boyfriend. They're in Mexico. And these two girls, like I said, they're in Mexico, they're having fun, they're partying, they're, basically just having fun. And the beginning of the movie is a little bit of the character development, which I'll be honest, the development wasn't bad, it was just, I think there wasn't enough of it, And the development is not the big problem with this movie. I mean, this movie would have been miles better if, the ending was better, I'll just say that. If you haven't seen 47 Meters Down, this is a spoiler review before I get into the review. This is a spoiler review. I will be spoiling the film. The ending to this movie is a major spoiler, so if you guys don't want to get this movie spoiled for you guys, go watch the film, and you guys can come back and check out the 47 hours, or 47 Meters Down. I keep wanting to call it 47 hours, but 47 Meters Down. And, if you guys don't want that spoiled, if you guys want this movie spoiled, then go check it out and come back to the review if you guys want to. And I think that with this movie, I think before I get into it too much, I just want to get back to the story real quick. These two girls decided they meet these two guys. They go out in the ocean on a boat, and these people are sort of doing a thing where you get into the cage and you can go into the water, look at the sharks and the fish. They're doing that, and the two girls go down there, and the cable breaks, and they're in this giant steel cage, and they fall 47 meters down into the ocean. And pretty much the rest of the movie is their survival and how they're going to survive the situation and how they're going to get out of this deep level in the ocean. And I like how they use a lot of realistic stuff, like the air pressure bubbles in your brain that'll pop if you go up to the surface too fast, or like the sharks in this movie, their usage I thought was perfect, because you figured it is built, it's marketed like a shark film. Obviously there's gonna be sharks everywhere. The shark is gonna be super smart, and it's gonna be unrealistically smart, which I can have fun with that. It can be a fun thing, but it's also fun to see it in a very realistic way. At least for me, this movie felt more realistic with that approach because a lot of the times the sharks are either lurking in the shadows or you don't see the sharks too much, or they just sort of pop in, out of nowhere. And if it was done wrong, it could be bad because it'd be annoying. Because it's like, oh, then how the heck are these sharks teleporting everywhere? But I think it was done very well, and I think it was done very right in this film. So I give the director tremendous respect for doing that. It's hard to do, but it was done well in this film. And what I sort of mean by that is that in this movie, there's not just the sharks are the only threat. There's the threat that they're 47 meters down, it's dark. There's a point in the movie where the lead girl gets her leg crushed by the cage. There's a point where she's trying to take a harpoon gun and she shoots herself in the hand by accident. So there's threats other than the sharks, and I like that idea. And I like how when the sharks show up, it's meaningful and it's impactful and it's memorable. So I think it adds something to the film. So I like that. I like the setting. I like the way that it's shot. The ocean scenes are very well done. You really bought this was 47 meters down to the ocean. You really bought that. The sharks, CGI was fantastic. I'd say that in this movie, CGI was used right. Honestly, it was used very well. The thrills and suspense were nailed. The characters were pretty good. Script was decent up to the ending. The build-up was good. And I remember the score being decent. And the movie overall is very well directed, very well shot. It has a very good look to it, has a very good feel to it. It kind of separates itself from other shark movies. And I think the realistic approach to this film, I thought, really, added something to this movie and made it just not, another shark film. I thought it made it more of a realistic survival shark film, and I like that. I like about this movie. And I have to say, this movie is really good. I have to say that when I seen it, I was surprised and I thought it was decent. I think the movie would be great if it would have went with the original ending, which I guess we'll get into right now, which is the big problem with the movie, in my opinion. In my opinion, the ending is the worst part. Because you pretty much find out that, okay, first act, second act of the film, or pretty much I'll just say this, the first half of the film is real. Second half of the film is, I would say this, maybe just a tad bit over the half point of the film is hallucination. And for those of you that's seen the movie, you guys probably know what I mean. That disappointed me. Because I get it, they mentioned it. When you're deep down in the ocean like that, the air pressure bubbles will cause hallucination. The lack of oxygen will cause, hallucinations. I understand that. You still could have used that. That's what I'm saying. You still could have used that. It could have been much more suspenseful. You could have had a scene where they don't know what the sharks are real, like which sharks are real and which sharks aren't. Like the lead girl, a shark comes towards her, she flinches, but realizes it's it's a hallucination. Something like that. Make it to where you can still use it for the story. There's lots of ways you could have used that hallucination angle. But the way they used it, I felt really brought down the rating for this movie with me. It could have been a really great film. Especially with how that ending was done, and how it was just so romping, and it wanted to get you energized, and you wanted these girls to survive. It got you hyped up. It got you all romped up, hyped up for this ending. And the ending is a hallucination. So, that, I thought, was, for me, the most, I have to be honest, probably the most silly mistake of a decision, that the filmmakers could have done. And I'm just being honest with that. I'm not being, a jerk to the filmmakers. I'm really not. I'm just saying that was a really bad move because then the whole last of the movie is just pointless. Because, okay, this ending, I felt, could have been one of the more better finales we could have gotten for a horror thriller action film. The girl
her friend gets, chomped by a shark, but she's still alive and she's calling her on the radio. And the lead girl has her leg crushed. And she finds a way to get her old air pump to get it to where it lifts the cage because she, releases it. And the air tank lifts the cage up and she gets out of there. She swims over, grabs her friend, grabs the flare, she's swimming up. It's very suspenseful and thrilling, and you want these characters to survive. And she's swimming. There's sharks all around them. They're using flares. They got one flare left. They dropped the other one, and they're still swimming. They gotta swim slow because of the air pressure, and they gotta stop for like 5 minutes so they can let um, the nitrogen, I guess, drain from their brain or whatever. And they gotta keep swimming, and then they get to the surface. The one girl gets bit in the leg. She's all torn up down here. She gets, bit all over. The other girl, she's all torn up from being bit as well. Both characters are bit up, torn up, but they end up making it to the boat. They get pulled onto the boat. They survive the shark attack, and they're laying there. They're in pain, but they also realize they made it, and it's not real because she looks at her hand and the blood is still bleeding like it was underwater. And she goes back and really she's just hallucinating. The cage is still on her leg and she gets taken out of the ocean, and that's the end of the movie. That really is the end. I kid you not, that's how the movie ends. Now, I don't know if this movie, it doesn't really say it's based on a true story. It may honestly be, I'm not sure. It doesn't really say it's based on a true story. But, you know, I get it. If it was based on a true story, then that could have happened. But I don't know. It bothers me because, like, all right, so all that buildup, all that great energy that you just brought to the table was false. So it irritated me. That's why it went from a Blu-ray rating to probably a DVD rating. Like, I would honestly maybe pick it up on DVD if I can find it somewhere. It would really get. I don't think it deserves a Blu-ray pickup, but it is definitely a decent film. It's a straightforward watch. It's definitely a little bit more better than an average shark film. Like, it sets itself apart from other shark films. It's just the ending. The ending is what really irritates me about this movie. It really does. The ending gets on my nerves. And, I thought that if the ending would have been done a little bit better, if it would have actually gone with that ending, then I would have been clapping. It's just a great movie. But the ending just freaking. That, and I guess you could throw in the other small problems, like there could have been more character development. We could have known a little bit more about each character than we did know. But the main problem is the fact that it was all hallucination. So that got on my nerves a lot. But overall, if I can look past that, it's honestly a pretty good movie. Very well lit, very well shot, very well directed, and overall a very well made modern day horror action thriller. So it is that. It is definitely a decent film. It's definitely good, but it could have been way better. And it's a shame that it wasn't more better, but, it could have been way better, but I guess it is what it is. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much my reviews for 47 hours, and I'll be seeing you guys later. Catch you guys later. The Explorer Report, out.